If you're looking for some fun and creative ways to use Dutch doors in your journal, then you have come to the right place. Today we're looking at 9 different layout ideas that you can use in your next setup. Each of these layouts have been decorated using tapes from the washi tape shop, and while they aren't necessary to use, they do add a lot of easy decoration to the pages. For our first layout idea, I used the Florentia wide PET tape, but this one is a Dutch door cover page. More of a decorative idea rather than a practical one. You can see here I've just laid down segments of the washi tape and then kind of fussy cut around the edge here to reveal the page underneath. To kind of make it stand out a little bit more, I just stuck some craft paper under there, but this can be a fun way to add some visual interest to your cover page. Another way a cover page Dutch door like this could be used is if you want to cut away part of the page so that you have an intentional section on the page underneath that you can see when your cover page is still closed. For instance, this could be a goals list or a to-dos list, or maybe you want to put your mini calendar on that page underneath. As said, I have used washi tape in this one, so cutting around each of the little pieces can be a little bit fiddly, but you could do something a little more straightforward, like the one we have here, which is just cutting out effectively a triangle and then the little blip for the side of our UFO. Because this Dutch door cover page is just an idea, I haven't put anything underneath on the other side, but what you can do is something like the Dutch door we have here, where I've just drawn out a kind of flowing stack of books, and then on the other side I've kind of mirrored it and just drawn it in again. So it still lines up perfectly with the edge that I cut for this side of the page. For our second idea, I've used the Winter Romance wide PET tape, but our idea for this one is to use it on your monthly log so that you can put a panel of decoration down the side that you only have to set up once. The nice part about this is, as said, you only have to set it up once, and you can see it on the monthly log view, but then you can also flip this over and see it on this view as well. What you include on here, completely up to you. I've just got some ideas of a note section and maybe a gratitude log, but oftentimes people will put things like their habit tracker or their mood tracker, or really anything else that you'd typically include in a monthly setup. Again, I have used washi tape to decorate the page here, but you don't have to. This could be a doodled piece of decoration, or it could be stickers, or you could make it functional and possibly turn this into your monthly to-do list, or this could be your gratitude section, and then you could have other sections underneath on this side. For our next Dutch door idea, I've used the Spring Garden washi tape sticker set. You can see all of those pretty little flowers here, but the actual idea we've got is a productivity log or a productivity tracker. The way the Dutch door works in this one is for the key. So the tracker is on either side here, and then the Dutch door in the middle is just housing the icons that will be put on this tracker. Just so that you know when you come back to this page, what did the little water drop actually mean? I love the productivity tracker. I think it's just a really fun visual way to represent how you're being productive across the month. And we do have a full separate video on how this one actually works, which you can find linked in the description box below. To make the Dutch door on this one though, we have just cut away the side of the page. So this is what we would call a vertical Dutch door, because you've cut up the page vertically. Our next idea is going to be a horizontal Dutch door, in which I've used the Full Flowers wide PET tape, but as you can see, the Dutch door that we have is up the top here. So rather than cutting vertically, we've cut horizontally across the page. To make sure that this one kind of stays secure, because cutting along the side of your journal that's at the spine edge can be a little bit tricky to do in such a way that other pages don't fall out, you might be able to see that I've just cut it so that it's a little bit further out than the spine and stuck the leftover piece of the page down to the one underneath it. The layout itself though, I've set up as a weekly log, so maybe we've got a little space for priorities and then a space for each day of the week with the weekend shared. And then we've got some spaces along the top for various things. So maybe this could be your meal log, so breakfast, lunches and dinners, or it could be a win from the day, a challenge and something you want to improve on, really whatever you want to use it for. And then on the other side of the Dutch door, we have 2 more sections which have those days of the week and 2 sections that could just be for general notes. Again, all these layouts are just ideas. You can switch out any of these sections so they actually suit your needs. For our next layout idea, I've used the motivational washi tape sticker set. And the idea with this layout is that you have your full month all in one kind of layout. So we've got a space down the side here to list out any events that are going on. We've got a habit tracker along the bottom, and we've got a gratitude list along the side. The actual Dutch door part though is along the top here. So it's technically a combination of a horizontal cut and a vertical cut, and it gives you like this little kind of book in the middle of your layout, which is a little bit cute. On this view, we have a goals section for the month, so a space to outline your goals, any projects, milestones that you hit and any memories. I've just decorated this with the washi tape stickers. And then in the middle here is where you would put each of your weeklies. This is where the whole idea of one layout for the whole month comes from. I've only set up 2 weeklies, so you would need more if you were going to use this for a full month, but because it's just an idea, I didn't want to use too many pages. Hopefully you understand what I mean though. Our next layout idea is another one that uses both a vertical and a horizontal cut, and for this one I've used the sunflower and navy wide PET tape, and this is actually a Dutch door type I've used for myself, so at first glance you might not quite be able to see where it is, but the Dutch door element actually comes from this little corner cutout that we have. The reason that you do this is for repeated tasks, or tasks that you do every single week that you just don't really want to write out over and over and over again. So looking at this side first, you can see we've got a little list of tasks that you might do on a weekly basis and some little yellow dots that you can tick off to say that you have completed those tasks. But we've also got this on every other view of the Dutch door. So with each week, you can just tick them off on this checklist because it refers to the tasks that you've already written down, but you don't have to write them down again. Same idea on the other side, because if you're gonna cut this part of the page out over here, when you flip it over the other way, you're still gonna have the cutout there. So what you could do is use this for 2 different types of checklists. I did this myself in one of my previous setups, so this one was just for a general to-do list, and then this side was for my reset checklist. You can see that rather than dots, I just had little boxes that I could cross things off using, but we just had that cutout section on every single page so that week upon week I could use that checklist again and again. I also cut away the top of the page so that I could have a meal log and just a little space to outline my priorities for the month. I've done a similar type of thing on this layout, so we've got a mini calendar view, we've got a goals section and a quote, and I've also made it so that when we flip each of these doors, the headers for each week just stay on the page underneath. So you don't have to write those headers out again and again, which can be particularly useful if you're trying to do any kind of fancy lettering and you're not necessarily convinced that you're going to execute it well every single time. Our next layout idea is for anybody who gets a little bit nervous about the idea of cutting their pages, and in this one we're using another washi tape sticker set, but this one is what we call a folded Dutch door. So the layout still spans 2 full spreads, but you fold this middle section so that you can see different views depending on which way you fold it. For instance, if you want to have a look at the first 3 days of the week, but also want your full to-do list visible, you can just fold that Dutch door under. This means you have some extra space, you don't have any paper offcuts, and you don't have to be worried about taking scissors to your notebook. For this idea though, I've just treated it as another weekly spread, so we have a full page column for each of the days of the week. So Monday through Thursday, and then flipping over we've got Friday through Sunday, and then just a general to-do list. This type of layout would be particularly good for anybody who either has a lot of tasks or maybe has a bit bigger handwriting, so you take up multiple lines when you're writing things, or if you want to combine your task lists with some journaling or memory keeping. But the folded Dutch door can be a nice approachable way of starting with Dutch doors. For our next layout idea, I've used the Pretty Florals wide PET tape, and this one is another that is focused on weeklies, but it's having Dutch doors for each of your weeklies so that you can put little habit trackers down the side of your layout. You can see that the first 3 weeklies have their little habit trackers on these little tabs, whereas the last one is just on the back page. This also is another opportunity to use some decorative stuff so that you don't have to put decoration on every single page. But if it makes it easier to use your habit tracker, you can just leave this off so it's a little bit easier to see how they line up with your habits. I've kind of used a color coding system here in the sense that I've highlighted every second column. So the darker one is this first one, then we've got a lighter one, then we've got a darker one, so on and so forth. I talk more about these little tabs and how to make them and other ideas for them in a separate video that we have on bullet journal tabs. Again, that one's linked in the description box if you wanted to check it out. But for this Dutch door layout, we have our first weekly, which is kind of vertical. We have a second weekly, which has a horizontal section and an Alastair method checklist. For our third weekly, we've got horizontal again, but spanning across both pages. And then on the fourth weekly, we've got the Alastair method again, and then just some assorted boxes for the days of the week and for notes. Again, with the washi tape making for very easy decoration, but you can use any type of decoration you want. or none if you prefer. For our next layout idea, I've used the copper wide PET tape, which is possibly my favorite from the bunch. But this one's another idea for people who may be a little bit apprehensive about taking scissors to their journal, and that's using a tip-in to make your Dutch door. So you can see possibly I've got some tape here, and I've just stuck a piece of paper into the journal so that I can have this fold-up Dutch door here. These types of layouts can be nice for kind of hiding information, so if you have anything that you don't necessarily want people to see at a glance, could be personal information, personal journaling, or if it's around kind of gift-giving season or birthday time, maybe you're putting gift ideas under there. You can see again I've made this one a little bit decorative by cutting out around the tape and putting the craft paper underneath it so that it shows up. But then the rest of the layout can just be set up like your regular weekly. Having a little flip through of our ideas, any of the videos mentioned in this video are found in the description box, along with links to all of the tapes used. Remember, you can use my code JASHII10 for 10% off your order if you want to, because we love savings. If you were on the hunt for more Dutch door ideas, then the playlist at the top is the one to check out next. Or if you wanted to see more layouts that use washi tape, the one at the bottom is for you. Click or tap on either of those and I'll see you over there.